In the Bible study that I do with my awesome 8th grade girls, we've been talking a lot this semester about how to live out your faith in little ways day to day. And one of these ways is by being a Christian leader in whatever events or activities you're involved in. According to the passage from 1 Peter that Mr. Von Helms just read, a simple definition of being a Christian leader is living your life in the way that Christ lived. But this is an extremely difficult thing to do because Christ was perfect and holy and we are sinful and making tons of mistakes every day. So the question that we've been trying to answer this semester is how to be a Christ-like leader in a world where we're surrounded by temptations and opportunities to sin. So here are 3 points given to me by my church pastor, and the verse is that Christ-like leadership is grateful. In whatever activities or responsibilities you have, you're going to have little jobs or presentations you're always going to have to do. And instead of being frustrated or annoyed by them, you can be grateful that you have the ability to work hard in whatever you're doing to make it better. In high school, that I've experienced the last few years, there are a lot of opportunities to get involved, but these things can quickly pile up and become really overwhelming and overbearing at times. But if you joyfully accept the positions that God gives you, then He'll help you accomplish everything you need while being a Christ-like example while doing it. The second point is that Christ-like leadership is selfless. When we go out for leadership positions or to be in charge of something, there's usually some small part of us that just really likes to recognize the person in charge. Even if it's something we're doing to help others, there's some sort of selfish purpose kind of woven in there somewhere. But we can model Christ in our positions and duties by putting others before ourselves in all that we do. Leaders are not put in charge of others to have power over them, but to serve them through decision-making and listening to the people who look up to them. And so I have a little demonstration I'm going to show you, and I need you to volunteer. Sarah Spencer. Okay, so I'm going to get Sarah Spencer with a little hand here, and she's just going to hold it right here. Right? She's a leader, right? So what she does, she is leading me. I'm the person who's leading this case. So she's looking. What do you see, Sarah Spencer, right now? Okay, so I'm going to hold up some fingers, and I want you to tell me like what numbers are going. Okay, you did that properly, including your right. Okay. So if we're only looking at ourselves, we can't see the needs of people that we're supposed to be leading and serving. There's a passage in James 1, verses 22 through 25 that says, "Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Anyone who listens to the word but does not do what it says is like someone who looks at his face in a mirror and, after looking at himself, goes away and immediately forgets what he looks like. But whoever looks intently into the perfect law that gives freedom and continues in it, not forgetting what they have heard, but doing it, they will be blessed in what they do." So that's the second point, is selfless leadership. And the third point is that Christ-like leadership is exemplary. And according to dictionary.com, exemplary means worthy of imitation, commendable, and serving as a model or example. And this puts a lot of pressure on leaders, especially when we're trying to live as a model of Christ. We want people to see the true image of Christ through us, but how can we resemble the only perfect human ever when we are so imperfect and sinful? In Matthew 16:24, Jesus says, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me." He calls us to take up his cross, take up our cross, just like he did. And I used to always be really confused as to what this saying meant, because how can we ever make such a sacrifice like Jesus did when we do not need to save ourselves? And the only way to take up our cross and become the best examples of Christ's life that we can possibly be is by asking the only one who could do it for help. We have to go to God and ask for his guidance in all that we do, in our decision making, in the words we speak, and even the thoughts that we just think throughout each day. We can't be Christ-like leaders without Christ himself present in our lives. Committing to being a Christ-like leader is not an easy thing. It requires trust, prayer, and sacrifice. And as you get years of life figured out, the older you get, the more responsibilities are going to be given to you. And even if you don't have a specific title or those many positions yet, the going to eventually move up and get these responsibilities. But whether you're just in class, walking in the hallways, or just even talking with your friends at lunch, the choices we make are constantly representing Christ. Peter closes his letter to his Christian friends under Roman persecution by urging them to stand firm in the true grace of God. As Christian leaders in the modern world, we are called to do the same, and to represent the grace that God has given us in our thoughts, speech, and actions by being grateful, selfless, and exemplary leaders for Christ to all those around us. Please join me in closing in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you so much for this opportunity that you've given me to speak to such a great group of students, Lord. Help them to become Christ-like leaders for you in all that they do as they grow in their relationships with you and learn to walk in your ways. We love you and praise you. Amen. Thank you so much.